What's up, guys? I got a good one for you today, HYLN. I've made a video on this in the past. If you want to go check it out, you probably should. You can see how we called the bottom on this channel. And if anyone else was watching this video or anyone else was getting in, I told you exactly where to buy and exactly what my plan is here. I bought about 20 shares, literally exactly on the bottom. Now, that's not always going to happen for me, but I did do really well. I bought it in at 18.10, and it literally bounced at 18.10. There was a reason why it bounced around 18.10. I had this trend line down here and a lower one that I was, watching out for at the 14.85, but my trend line here was at the 18.07, and when I looked at the weekly, which I'm going to show you right now, see in the past here, we got a nice bounce over in this area, which we dropped out of this pennant before we blasted off. Now, this thing is crazy when it blasts off. This thing just like shoots up like a rocket. So, that's one thing we're going to have to keep an eye on. But I do have a reason why I have a target that I'm selling at. Now, if you look over here on the weekly, where I bought was right here on the weekly 50 EMA, and it touched my line that I've had drawn in here for months perfectly. And, I wish I got more shares, but, it's a scary thing to buy when it's red like that. Now, my first target was actually 25.79, which I did have to take profits because I have to follow my plan. Now, the reason that I was taking that target first was because we ended up creating a rising channel here, and 25.79 was the target. We touched it yesterday perfectly, got rejected for a little bit, and then this morning we actually broke out bullish out of it. Now, I did have a breakdown target of it, but it's kind of pointless now because obviously we broke out of it. So if we take a look at the measured move of a breakout of this usually bearish chart or bearish pattern, our breakout is actually 27.94. There's a perfect reason that it looks like it could actually get rejected there for a small short time. But if you look at the 100 weekly 100 EMA, 30.17. Now, the reason I was playing this thing is because I'm playing it as it's a head and shoulders pattern, potentially. If we look at the RSI, I actually am seeing something different, which could be more bullish for it. But if, originally I planned to sell around 29, I might actually just dump a few shares around this $28, $29 level and then ride the rest up in case we decide to go sideways and break out of this pattern completely. It's very possible we could do that, or we could get a head and shoulders, dump down, and then create a massive W. And even if we did dump down, I don't think we'll be coming down to that $18.10 level again. But it's still in my probabilities here. Everything's playing out to a fucking T for this, and I really hope that some people were in around this time, same time as me. But if you're still holding shit from the $40 level or higher, we have a really good chance of getting there. And we're getting some, people are starting to talk about this thing, and it's so funny to me when you're grabbing shit on these downtrends and no one's talking about it, then all of a sudden the thing starts breaking out and creating a massive amount of buying candles and green candles, and now all of a sudden I'm hearing it everywhere. I'm like, motherfuckers, I've been in since this 1810, so I have a solid ass position. I kind of don't like taking these profits, but at the same time, I have to stick to my game plan. And if I rebuy, I would rebuy the breakout somewhere in the $40 range, depending. But anyway, sorry, I'm just pumped because I love seeing shit work out the way that I planned. And so let's take a fib retracement from the 1 hourly of what's going on, just from this swing low to the swing high where we are right now. So we see how everything's been working out. And as you see, it's working out to a T. The 21.27 is the 0.618 based off of the smaller time frames, and we've already touched it twice, created a nice W. That was a great point to buy in. 24.56, 23.30, your two support levels at the moment. But, I would just keep an eye on that 25.78, 25.79 level. The breakout of this 26.59 would be potentially a nice little breakout up to the, I'll take a look at the where we could get some more resistance in a second. If we take a look at this pattern here, I'm going to try to find a different place to put a bigger fib. I mean, I would like to do the whole overall fib from this very high to now, but shit, I always try to go opposite on this stupid fib. You got to go from the bottom to the top. That's how it works. I've done it screwed up a little bit in my other videos, but I got the hang of it now. So, I want to try to find another place of resistance looking left, and we see where we've, had a couple wicks here that we got stopped out on. But let's see if anything even makes sense here. If we go from this point right here was a wick that we got stopped out on, and it does make a lot of sense to me. This $27.96 level here, 0.382. Now, the reason that I kind of want to go from this level, let's take a look around here and see if we can find a better point of resistance or strong support. Now, looking at the daily here, if you look left, we have this massive wick that came down and touched perfectly and continued on its way. Here I go, putting the fibs the wrong way again. Freaking idiot, sorry. So this wick that came down touched support perfectly in the past. Now, that's got to be some massive support and also massive resistance right now. So I'm going to run it off of that because this could be perfect. Oh, it's pretty damn perfect. Look at that. Okay, so we're going to keep this here. This is going to be our point right here. As you can see at the 0.786, 2133, which aligned with the 0.618 on the smaller 1 hour time frame support earlier. Now the resistance, 2762. We're heading there right now. I think that's going to be our next point of resistance, and we could potentially get rejected there, come back at the 2578, and continue on our way. This right here, this wick up in this area, which was a little higher than that support zone here, was something where obviously we broke through for a second, got rejected in the past. Now this is the head and shoulders area that I'm kind of looking for a sell. Now, I might not get greedy and wait for 34.75 exactly. I could potentially take some more profits at the 29.90, somewhere between the 0.236 and the 0.382, and then see how we're doing. And if we can break above this 33.57 area and get support somewhere between there and 34.75, that's going to be something we're going to watch for, because if we're going to get up there, we might as well test the fucking channel as it is, you know what I mean? But we'll have to keep an eye on everything. This is just looking awesome. Now, if you look at the RSI here, this is where we are right now is showing me, it looks on the patterns and on the chart that we have a head and shoulders, but on the RSI here, it looks almost more like a W. What we could potentially do, though, is on this daily is move up a little bit higher on the RSI and touch this, maybe this first resistance point where we got rejected on the left a little bit on the RSI, or we could come up and touch the top of this line that I've had drawn here. But if you look here, it looks like a big W on the RSI, where on the pattern itself, it looks like a head and shoulders. So that's a thing that I'm going to have to keep my eyes on, because I don't want to see myself selling everything I have at the possibility of a head and shoulders when it might actually turn into a massive W. You definitely want to check out my other video on this HYLN, and you can see exactly what we've talked about and discussed throughout that video. Now, looking at this MACD on the weekly, this is going to take a long time before anything happens as far as this curving up or anything, but it is starting to curve a little bit. It does look like a little head and shoulders on that as well, where that left part's the shoulder. But, this is all me being just me and trying to overanalyze shit and find out what things could happen so that I don't get locked up and, screw up and lose my profits. But if you look at the 4 hour here, this is what I was looking at yesterday as I was getting ready to sell a little bit of my shares at that rising channel point, just knowing that was resistance. But we actually turned into a nice double bottom there as we got rejected twice, causing this whole pattern, actually, it looks like a inverse head and shoulders, and that's pretty much what's playing out right now. This is our little breakout. So just for the hell of it, I'm going to take a little measured move here of this being an inverse head and shoulder on the RSI, and we'll see how high we could potentially come. So it looks like we have a little bit more to come up, which could potentially work out perfectly with that $27-ish level. I forget the exact dollar amount, $27.39, something like that. Let's see if it works out here on this 4 hour. We're going to still go up to that same point as support that we were discussing earlier. And whoops, the frick just happened? Let's try this again. Sorry about that. Run this from here to here and just see if this is going to be perfect. 27.57. So that's probably where we're heading on that RSI before any type of correction. Now, if we do get some type of correction, like I said, we could come to that 25.79. That's an area to watch, 25.78. Or we could even come back down and test this 23.98 area. Now, I really don't know if we would do that just yet, but I don't like to get too bullish on this. We do have this golden cross that came in on the 4 hourly and a golden cross on that's the hourly. But, I was watching this as well, this red TD9 on the 1 hour as we were coming up to this rising channel. And I'm like, things probably going to need a correction. But something I learned recently about the TD9 is because it goes from 1 to 8, each candle is 1, the next candle is 2, so on and so forth. And you can get to 8 and then you can reset and go to 1, or you can get a 9, which could be a green or a red candle, which can show you whether you need to buy or sell. Now, if you get a red 9, obviously that usually means that you need to get a correction. But if your next candle over is a clean 1 and there's no, red or anything like that, then it's, from what I just recently learned, is it means it's resetting it and it actually doesn't need to correct at the moment, or it already corrected during that last red candle enough to do what it needed to do. I don't know if that made any sense whatsoever, but that's just something I just learned, so I could have explained it like an asshole. But either way, on this 1 hourly, we are getting up here on this RSI. We could come up a little bit more, but, the fact that we're coming up here pretty fast, like I said, we're going to have to look for that support around that $24 level. But first, if we can hold this 25.77, that would be good. I'm not looking for a correction just yet. I still see us coming up at least to this 27.57 today, and then seeing what we're going to do there. If we can get support up there, that's fucking awesome. We have these moving averages moving upwards, which is awesome to see. This is even on the smaller time frames as well as the larger time frames. So anyways, guys, that's about all I got for you. And keep an eye on HYLN. Check out my other video and like and subscribe to my channel. Have a good one. Later.